it is startup and innovators. We're having a lot of scientists this time around. We've had people in agriculture. They're also scientists. A lot has been done with what we're doing. We really have a big spread. But we're back in Brazil again. There's a lot of Nigerians in Brazil, schooling, studying. And like I mentioned to you in our last two editions, the NIDO Brazil, that's Nigerian Diaspora Organization Americas, organized a competition called the President's Cup. So a lot of Nigerians in Brazil, students, but they're not particularly young people, different, now pitching their idea, their business, their invention, and we're still with them. I think we interviewed Akim and Malik, who were the winners of the competition about 2 months back. But there were a lot of people that pitched into the competition, and that's why we keep talking to them, because even though they didn't win, their ideas are novel, and they're still a parameter and yardstick to measure so much. You saw a person we interviewed last week, what she was doing with health in Cross River State, even though she's in Brazil. So today we have another extraordinary guest. She's a soil scientist, and she's also very good at what she does. Today we have Blessing Ejeh Agada. Blessing, welcome to Startup and Innovators on the Atlanta Discuss channel.
Thank you very much for having me, sir.
Oh, fantastic. So let me just ask you, you're in Brazil too, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Why is everybody in Brazil? What's happening in Brazil?
Yeah, so I came to Brazil for my postdoc. I had my PhD, part of my PhD in Michigan State University in the US.
Oh, wow.
And after that visiting program, I went back to Nigeria. It was mandatory for me to return back home to impact my country for 2 years before I could leave again.
Oh, wow.
So I was back in Nigeria working, and then I knew I needed to do my postdoc, and so I applied to come here. And I came to the Universidade Federal de Roraima in Brazil. Yes, sir.
Wow, fantastic. And when you're done, you're going back to Nigeria?
Yes, I hope so. Yes, I'm specifically saying hope so because I was to return, but the university here wanted me to help out with statistics.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, one of the things that they decided to extend my stay, because it was a 1-year postdoc that I came for, but they noticed my progress with respect to statistical analysis using R programming language, which I learned under the USAID Feed the Future program back in the US. And I was doing those trainings in Nigeria also. So they saw my profile, and one of the students here was English based. He didn't understand Portuguese at all. So he was kind of a master's student. He was kind of placed under me to help manage his project through the field work and then run his analysis and all that. So I may stay longer given that I am helping with statistics here.
I'm happy to hear that, but if it's good for you, it's good for you. So Blessing, what I have here, you are a registered soil scientist of Nigeria and a certified management consultant. Yeah, you serve as a senior lecturer with the Soil Science Department at Joseph Tarka University in Makurdi. Are you from Benue State?
Yes, I'm from Benue State.
Oh, okay, that's great. So, wow. There's so much here. But okay, let's do it in a normal tradition. Tell us about where you're from, all those things, the way your own language, how we understand, Tell us.
Okay. All right, sir. So I'm Blessing Ejeh Agada. I'm a soil scientist. I love soil science. And aside that, I am a farmer. So I have a farm back in Kefi in Nigeria where I do zero waste management. And then I love statistics. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that kept me back here with the university, I came for my postdoc. I'm a mother with 4 girls. They are here with me in Brazil. Yes, 4 daughters. And I'm a soil-wise use advocate, meaning we get all we need with respect to our food, all other ecosystem management around soil. And I advocate that we should manage it properly so we can leave something for future generations with respect to this climate change issues that we are seeing happening around the world. So that is me, and I'm a firm believer of God. I love God. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. I'm sure you are having a wonderful time in Brazil because now
Yes.
they can speak Portuguese now, which is a big advantage for them.
Same, yeah, they can. Two languages.
Oh, that's it's written here that you also serve as pioneer consultant and lead agronomist for Tuba Nigeria, a carbon farming project in Nigeria funded by OCP Africa and Innovex and BCG. It says you have
Yes.
impacted over 9,000 smallholder farmers and extension agents.
Yeah.
Use of land resource through capacity building on best management practices. And you said good management practices, good agronomic practices, regenerative agriculture of waste management. So
yes,
bio-friendly.
Exactly. Environmental sustainability is like the key word. I didn't want to go into those specifics, but we say with the carbon farming, we are talking about how to sequester carbon from the atmosphere instead of it being exposed to deplete our ozone layer. We sequester it through the soil, and the soil and the oceans are one of the big sinks with respect to that. So, aside being a core soil scientist and agronomist, I like to do consultancies around that area to help with management.
You're also a data analyst, proficient in the use of R programming language, impacting research students, M&E personnel of the federal and state Ministry of Agriculture in over 7 states in Nigeria. So
yes.
were you working in the ministry before you came in?
No, as a lecturer and under the Feed the Future USAID project, I was the project lead in Nigeria for about 4 years. So we had to do trainings so it is this way. Let me explain it. I was managing the soil productivity aspect. Okay. And because I was doing that, we had to create the first ever regenerative soil maps, soil nutrient maps and productivity maps for Nigeria. I created them. It's a digital map that you can use to assess our soil resource with respect to understanding their nutrients for these 3 focal states under the USAID Feed the Future Nigerian Agricultural Policy Project. So in that project,
I have a big fear. I don't want Brazil to keep you. I'm telling you. I know. I feel it already. You know what you're talking about. You're trained in Nigeria, America, and Brazil. Okay, don't worry. I'm going to ask you questions.
Okay, sir.
I want you to present your project because I really want to know, in your area of expertise, what do you think we're doing wrong in Nigeria that you can help us solve? So we'll leave that till the end. I know you wrote a project for NIDWA. I have to thank Honorable Uche and Honorable Chika, fantastic guys. Without them, I would all of you, and honestly, I did not know there was an extraordinary pool of Nigerians in Brazil doing extraordinary things. I'm really excited.
Yes, sir.
So your project title, I'm looking at it right now. I said, targeted capacity building of non-ruminant animal smallholder farms on black soldier fly farming. What does that mean? The layman, people need to read the idea, understand what else.
Okay, so non-ruminants are the layman term: fish, pigs, ducks, and poultry. Around that axis, they are the non-ruminants. And normally the cost of feed, because I had a poultry farm back in Nigeria before I left, I usually churn out about 500 beds every month.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I saw how the prices of feed would just spike without any recourse to you, the farmer. And you might buy feed today, a week for like 3,100. By the time you go back in another week or 2, it is about 6,000. Like 100% jump. So it was affecting my profits. And I had to start looking at sustainable means, which one of them was the black soldier fly. I did that, and Azola. So when I started the black soldier fly, it was not something, I have videos on my YouTube. It was not something that was really common in Nigeria at the time I started about 5 years ago. And the idea of the black soldier fly is a clean fly. I had to, sincerely, sir, I had to write to the World Food Prize winner for 2019, Dr. Niulema. I saw her TED Talk, and she was talking about the flies. So I wrote to her because I couldn't get the seeds in Nigeria as at that time. And she kind of mentored me So it's a ripple effect of what she did back in Uganda and other African countries that I started in Nigeria. So when I started, I was able to create and see how I could get the seeds, because without the seeds, you can't really start the project. And this, when I mean the seed, is either you're getting the egg of the black soldier fly, or you're getting the larva. I will show you all that in my presentation.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So
we can start now. You understand?
All right then.
You are not a startup. Okay. You are clearly an innovator. So I'm excited.
All right. So please just permit me to share my screen. Okay, sir. So please, can you see the screen?
Yes. Sustainable protein and waste solution. Go ahead.
Yes. So I kind of tweaked that topic from what I had presented. So it is it can reach a wider audience, exactly, instead of making it too technical.
Okay.
So the black soldier, the idea of the protein is the black soldier fly larva has about 65% protein. Research-based literature, you can find that, and it is a healthy protein because in some East African countries they eat the larva. That's human beings actually eat the larva. So it's not just when people see the fly, their mind goes to the house fly. So it is not a house fly. It is a cleaner fly, very clean. And I'll just show my second slide. Let me just put this up. So this is what the black soldier fly circle looks like. And that's the black soldier fly here, if you can see my cursor at the top of the circle. Yeah. So the fly is, as I said, a healthy fly and lives for about 42 days, its whole cycle. So what we want with respect to the fly, because everything about the fly is usable, the fly itself, the pupa, the larva, and the eggs, all healthy and usable to feed as a supplementary feed or complementary, whichever the farmer wants, to non-ruminant, that is the fish, as I said, poultry, which has to do with either chickens or duck, and then pigs. So they can conveniently feed on this and it will boost their protein content. One of the things we have seen also with the feed, because I did that, I tested some of the feed samples, Crown Feed and other names. I'm beginning to lose their names now since I left Nigeria. And I saw that the protein content is very low. You have more carbohydrates. And that's why you keep feeding the birds and sometimes they don't add the weight that the farmer expects to see with raising the poultry. So this particular fly at the level of the larva, if you're taking the larva to feed the fly, your poultry or your pigs, it helps to supplement with the protein content. And aside that, the larva helps to break down organic waste. So any waste in your field, so if you have a farm, the waste of the cow dung, poultry dung, or even organic waste from the kitchen, the larva will break down because that is what it feeds on. As it feeds on this waste, it becomes fat that you can use to feed your birds, but it also breaks down this organic waste into a usable produce we call the frass. I'll explain that in fewer slides downwards. So why is this attractive? The black soldier fly farming is recognized as a sustainable agricultural tool, a management tool to fix organic waste, as I mentioned. And then you can get valuable product of the protein feeds, which is the larva. And you can turn this larva or add them as addictive into concentrated feed to improve the protein content of the concentrated feed that is used to feed these animals. And then it is climate smart. That is where we say it breaks down the organic matter and then sequesters carbon and even other potent greenhouse gases like methane. So instead of you having your field, like for those that are raising pigs, that's a piggery system, instead of having lots of your wastes, your pig dung around that will be sending us carbon dioxide and methane gas into the atmosphere, if you have the black soldier fly, it will break down this organic waste, give you the larva that you can feed to the pig's back, as well as give you fertilizer that is easily nutrient released, because there's something about organic manure management, because I'm in soil science. The amount of time that it will stay in the soil to break down before it releases the nutrient might not tally with the time that the crops will need. But when the black soldier fly breaks down these organic waste, it kinds of gives you a fertilizer that is almost like an inorganic fertilizer, because your release and assimilation with respect to the crop that is being grown in your field, it is kind of matched. So that's the whole story around the black soldier fly. So it helps with sequestration of carbon. It provides an alternative feed source, and then it provides ready rich nutrients from your fertilizing your crops with respect to the frass that is also gotten as a product. So you have three major products from the black soldier fly farming. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the major problem we have is that animal feeds are very expensive. It takes about 60 to 70% of the cost of production for smallholder farmers, large or medium scale farmers. That is where your cost is centered on. And if you want to make profit, you want to look at how to reduce your cost. So this is where the black soldier fly comes in. And then millions of tons of organic waste, we have them. They are there, adding a major problem to the issue of climate change. So if we're talking about mitigating or creating adaptative structures around climate change management, then the black soldier fly can be at the centerpiece for or focal piece for those kind of corrective measures. And then it can provide employment in rural communities and even in city centers, depending on where the farm is located and what the scale of production is. And it provides like this knowledge. People don't know about it as a sustainable means for feed alternatives. Like I mentioned, the Zola. I remember when I started the training, I had to show people how to get a Zola, how to get duckweed, and how to do this black soldier fly farming on their field. So it's an alternative source to production with respect to feed. Next is what the solution that we're providing. So the future is Mr. Integrated Farm. I do consultancies with this hands-on training. It's a 2 to 3 day practical training on the black soldier fly rearing. I used to do it right on my farm. And then we also train extension agents to become like a trainers course where they can pass this information to the farmers under their purview. So the modules usually include the breeding cycle, because if you don't understand the breeding cycle, then you cannot raise the black soldier fly. And then what kind of organic waste, how to separate organic waste, then the larva harvesting, because you have to harvest the larva that you use to feed your animals, as well as keep for the next cycle, to keep the cycle growing. And then for feed processing, that's why I'm saying you could add your larva, how to process the larva, how to process and then add it as addictive into concentrated feeds that you can add. You're using as a feed for your animals on the farm. And then we also teach farm business management. So the whole of this is training these smallholder farmers, medium scale or large scale farmers on how to supplement and complement these black soldier fly into what they have already as their nutrition regime. Because why I emphasize supplementary is the scale of production of the black soldier fly will determine whether you are going to use it as your complete source of feed on the farm, or you're going to be supplementing with the concentrated feeds. So we have to teach the farmers how to do both. Usually the revenue streams is from training, the sale of starter kits, that's the package around how to set up or to lead them to where they can get the technicians that can help them set up the starter kits. Because when we say starter kit is you need certain tools, how to trap the black soldier fly to ensure that they don't escape, and you can keep rearing to increase your farm size. And then the sale of the black soldier fly larva. So you could sell the larva, you could sell the eggs, and then you sell the organic frass. The frass, that's the fertilizer, is what the larva, that's the black soldier fly larva, has broken down, that the organic matter, whether it's from animal dung or plant waste, what it breaks down in about 3 to 7 days is what is called the frass. So that is a very potent organic fertilizer that can aid the release of nutrients easily and faster to be beneficial to the plant that is being grown on the field. So usually the layout of the farm, that's the layout of the structure with respect to the black soldier fly farm. You have a structure. It doesn't have to be big, like when I'm talking to my smallholder farmers, because my audience for the past 4 or 5 years has been with smallholder farmers. I did a few consultancy for about 4 large farms in Jos and in Nasarawa, where it was a scale where we had to build big structures. So when I'm saying with respect to the layout, it depends on if it's just a small cage or it's a structure that is built to accommodate a bigger quantity with respect to the number of pens that you have to keep the black soldier fly. So in the layout, you usually have the breeding area, the egg incubation area, because the egg is like the centerpiece of the cycle. If you lose the egg, you might have to start sourcing for where to get the egg to start the whole cycle again. So that area is usually highly guarded as your egg incubation area. Then the larva rearing area, where you can divide or separate, as it is, the larva from the pupae, because when it changes from the larva to the pupae is getting ready to start the process of being a black soldier fly. So at that stage, it is not wise to feed to your animals. It is wise to rear them to keep the cycle going. And then when you finally harvest, do you want to have them dried? Do you want to feed your animals as live maggots? I know some of the chickens prefer the live ones, and not some, most of the chickens, they prefer the live one to the dead one that is not moving. So you might have to weigh your options. Are you using the dry, or are you going to blend and put into your concentrated feed? So all those suggestions happen around the harvesting and the processing area. Then the frass and the drying. The frass is, as I said, the organic waste that has been broken down into powder. You can bag them like the pack that you are seeing here. We bag the frass into fertilizer, organic fertilizer that is sold, sealed and sold as one of the products. So the product that is gotten from the black soldier fly is the fly itself, the pupae, because the pupae and the pre-pupae, the shells from when the black soldier fly emerges from the pupae stage, is also used as a feeding addictive because it provides calcium. It is very high in calcium, and one of the feeds that like broilers, for instance, will need is calcium. So what I do personally is as I'm teaching, I tell them, keep your larva, the larva itself, that's after the fly has emerged, you keep the larva casing, the casing, and then you can dry them, crush and add into the feed, and it supplies your calcium needs for the animals. So you have the pupae, you have the larva, and then you have the frass. These are the products that can be gotten from the black soldier fly. So everything about the black soldier fly is used. And for those that are rearing fish, even the black soldier fly, because after mating, the black soldier fly between the 3rd to the 4th day dies. So you collect all the dead black soldier fly also. So you see, nothing is wasted when it comes to the black soldier fly. And that can be fed to the birds or the fish or even your pigs. So it is a wonderful, I think next to the palm tree, it is like in the animal kingdom, one of the insects that you can use every part of its cycle for production. Now, so I did a small expected profit projections for a smallholder farm. So if a farmer goes through our training, I will show you the slide, how we do this in the next slide. If he goes to our training and is expected to start something small, when I say small is you have just 4 poles and a mosquito net that is not treated wrapped around this pole. You can start raising a black soldier fly. I won't expose other things because you have to be in our training, and the training you pay a small fee to be part of the training. So what I mean with the small structure is that. And then if you have that structure and you go through our training, you will begin to earn, because even though I'm here in Brazil, I did the training last month, and the idea is to raise hubs, because I see people still come to my YouTube channel knowing that I was selling this back home before I left to act. So I'm trying to raise hubs where I can say, okay, this person is in Ebonyi, is closest to you to just, see, and then you'll be able to get the seed to start the process. Because the idea is to raise these hubs and provide areas where the seeds can be gotten easily for the people that we are training to be able to start the process. So when this particular individual now who is interested goes through our training, this is the estimated profit that it's going to get monthly and annually if it stays true. Because one other thing that I've noticed is people start and they tend to, oh, it's stressful, I don't have labor, blah, 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 and separating. But if you stay true, you will definitely make money without stress. You make money either as train the trainer yourself or just providing the seed for other people that are interested to buy. So this monthly production sample is roughly getting about 520. I will explain to you in the next slide what the revenue and the cost, where is getting this to get this particular value over $350. You can change that to Naira and you see how that can be an extra added income to the farmer. So this second slide, this is the assumptions and the projections, is in the black soldier fly, assuming you're raising 120 kg, because as I speak to you now, because I asked last month, a kg is 20,000. Initially it used to be about 7.5, but it has skyrocketed to 20,000 as we speak, because most people are not producing, or if they are producing, they don't have enough to want to share or sell. So there's no really big scale black soldier fly farm in Nigeria, except one that I will put at medium scale. We were working together. He's in Anambra, Mr. Ejike. So it's an open market. The demand is high. And here people will be like, oh, Dr. B, can you link me up to somebody that I can get the black soldier fly seed to start, So there is a huge demand for it, and we're not meeting the market as we speak. And the price is just skyrocketing. So if that is done, so you can make money from just selling the seed. If it's only the seed you want to concentrate on making, if you don't even have a poultry farm, you just want to start raising seeds to sell. Or you have a farm, you can earn both ways. You can earn on making the seed or your fertilizer, because as your maggots, the larva, breaks down the organic waste, you have the fertilizer that you can also bag and sell. So you have options of making money with respect to the black soldier fly. Even if you decide to just carve a niche around just seed production, or the breakdown, you have seed that is breaking down organic material to raise the frass and sell as fertilizer, you will be making money, even if you don't have birds that you are keeping to give the protein to as a feed supplement. So the expense usually is the setup with respect to the structure. Now you're going to define whether it's small, large, or medium. And then the waste collection, because if you don't have waste, like I had waste on my farm already, raising pigs and birds, so I didn't need to go out to get waste. So if you don't have waste, you may have to source for waste from, I tell people the easiest ones is people that sell fruits. All these people by the road in Nigeria that sell fruits, you can arrange with them and be collecting their waste, and you can start from there. And then the labor is this comes into play with respect to scale, depending on the scale and what area you have decided as your niche. Is it production, or is it the whole thing completely, the whole system as a whole? That means you are raising to feed animals. You're also raising to, it's breaking down, you're getting organic matter as fertilizer, and you are selling the seed. So if it's a whole or just a niche, your labor will fluctuate. The cost of labor will be different. It will fluctuate based on scale. And then maintenance is around maintaining your pen, because once in a while you may need to look at changing the nets so that you are sure that your flies are not escaping and all that. And this is where your expense, that's where expense really comes in with respect to this, if a farmer decides to start. So when I said these are the projections with respect to profit, I know you can do this. And then you can also do consultancies like I do. I set up farms for people. This is when you have, built your skill around the black soldier fly. So you could also make revenue. Extra revenue can also come when you decide to go set up a farm for someone, because the technicalities around setting up a farm, and this also depends on scale, how you will put the separation mechanism to separate the larva from the pupae without necessarily incurring so much with respect to labor. That has to be factored in when you are setting up that. But roughly, a farmer can make this $4,200 per year. This is outside of consultancy. It could increase from that. And as I mentioned earlier on, I just did a training last month, and we do monthly from here. I have my boys, and then just recently, one of my protege won the Tony Elumelu Foundation's $5,000 grant, and is setting up a big, because I helped him to I helped him to develop that grant proposal. One of the things I've noticed while I was going around Nigeria, even with respect to the soil mapping that I was doing for the different states, I saw that there was no medium scale to large scale farm for the black soldier fly. And he was my first student. He was working with me right on my farm. And even while we were going around the fields to collect soil samples in Ebonyi and Benue State. And he saw, because he was hearing from me when I'll be making those comments, and we decided to apply. And he got that. As I speak to you right now in Benue, he's building one of the largest farm. I'm sure it's going to be the largest farm with respect to the black soldier fly in the country. And I'm so excited that it's something that is stemming up from the trainings that we have been holding for this past few years.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, yes, I will stop sharing. I left some link there.
Yeah,
that's yes, the website, my website, and then we have an extension academy. So it's under the extension academy that we do this training. I have 2 trainings for extension workers, which handles black soldier fly and other things around soil management. And then I do statistic analysis with R, and that should happen in the next 2 weeks. I'll be doing that with the university, Nasarawa State University, in conjunction with their gender science department, so that we could train some professors as well as their graduate students on how to use R to run the analysis. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. I can stop sharing. You know what I like about your presentation? I had like five follow-up questions, and you've answered everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I wanted to ask about whether anybody was doing it large scale at the moment. You answered that. You understand, how many people have you trained, the collaboration ongoing, the cost intensity of the thing. You answered that. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I didn't get clarity on if you were partnering with government, but it does look like, when you have people already talking to Tony Elumelu getting the grants, that's fantastic. There's no better reference than that, actually. You understand? And it's
yes.
good on you. You helped that gentleman get the grant by fleshing up the proposal. And now he's doing, and the glory is going to come to you because, it's your protege.
Yeah, he posted it on Facebook, and I told him to take the post down before, let's finish the whole thing. Let the structure come up. Yeah. I like to tell them cover for a while, yes, before, So he was really super excited, and
I was going to ask if this can be commercialized. You've answered that. I wanted to say, are you doing this anywhere else right now? You've answered that. You train people, and you have farms here and there. There's a guy you said he's in Anambra, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And I mean, it's impressive. I don't even have anything to say. The only question I have to ask is, the way you were saying pre-pupa and all that. So
yes,
that it's egg, larva, pre-pupa, pupa, frass,
and then the fly. Yes.
Okay. I just want.
Yeah. So you have egg, pre-pupa, pupa, and the fly. That's the circle. Okay. And then the larva is the one that breaks down the organic waste and then becomes fattened by breaking down the organic waste, and then you can use to feed the animal. So the organic waste that is broken down is the frass that is bagged as fertilizer. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's the part I wanted to understand. I mean, I think I have good memory of, process, maybe not of this fly, but of other insects, you understand? So that's why I wanted to know what the frass was and all that. But you've done well, Blessing. Honestly, I don't have any other thing to add, but to wish
thank you so much, sir.
Oh, your fantastic endeavors. You're doing very well. Don't stay in. I know that you might make more money in Brazil. I know Nigeria is tough. It's difficult for you to be doing what you're doing and get recognized. But
Yes.
yeah, I understand
yeah.
that. I understand you have your family, you have to break even in life. I understand that, but just have it at the back of your mind. You're already training people in Nigeria, so I respect that. So I'm not going to indict you per se. You train them, and you never know.
Yeah.
So I mean, you one guess that you just tick all my boxes, So and time is ever our friend also. But
Yeah.
what I'm going to tell you is that don't stop what you're doing. I have a strong feeling that some international organization will come to meet you. You understand? And
Yes, sir.
if Nigeria doesn't act fast, I suspect it to be an African country, maybe a Rwanda, maybe a Namibia. There are a lot of serious-minded countries like that.
Yes.
I'm not saying Nigeria is not serious-minded, but we need to be very, very serious-minded, If you're
Somebody's taking me to Angola soon.
I'm not surprised. Trust me. One of the countries I'm very used to in Africa is Benin Republic. I've worked there.
Okay.
I understand their system and all that. I'm talking years back. So I follow them a lot. Recently they became the largest cotton producing country in Africa, and the day they made it in cotton, the Minister for Agri, when they were making that announcement, he was crying.
Yes, because we have everything.
Because they put in so much to attain.
So much.
I'm telling you, and if you go to Port Novo, Cotonou, if you see their roads, man, So, I don't want to. You see, the point is, we've always said it. What we lack in Nigeria is just leadership. The manpower is there. So Blessing, thank you. To all our viewers, is a wrap. I'm sure every information you need on Blessing will be in the chat box, will be in the description, even all the details. Please, you guys need to talk to her, learn. She can consult. Her fees are not too high. Just about friendly. And I think for her, it's not even money. It's just that she has a flair for soil science.
Yes.
Those people that are working somewhere and you look at the soil, you can tell like 20 things about that soil.
Exactly.
I know. You look at like, this sand is hungry. They're not feeding the soil very well,
Yeah.
God bless you.
Thank you so much. Amen. You too, sir. I appreciate you for having me, sir.
I'm very impressed, honestly. I'm not the type that gets easily impressed, but trust me, I am very impressed.
Thank you so much.
You made it look so ordinary, even though I know that there were a lot of details. You understand, and I'll say it again. God bless you. I'm very proud of you. I'm proud that you're Nigerian.
Thank you so much.
Putting you back to add value to what they're doing, So that's a lot, So we'll get there one day. And one of the reasons why we do what we do is because we want to propagate the Nigerian gospel in a good way. So that people see that it's not everything Nigeria that is bad, that is 419, that is drugs, that is embezzlement, and what have you. And Nigerians scattered all over the world doing extraordinary things. And you, Blessing, you are one of them. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Take care.
It's an honor. You too, sir. Bye-bye. God bless you.